Retro Hero.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much. This is Season 2 of the Retro Hero podcast. Oh my God, we reached Season 2.
We made it.
Even though nobody listened to Season 1, we did not get canceled. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's what the power of the internet does for you.
Yep,
My name is John, and next to me, to my right, is my handsome, very handsome and debonair
Thank you.
Co-host,
Debonair.
Mr. Bradley Rollins.
Yep, my charm is leveled out max.
For sure. Absolutely.
been
This
reading
is
all
the
the
Retro
books.
Hero podcast. And, hey,
Welcome back.
how's it going?
It's been a while. It's going great.
It's going great?
Yeah. Playing a lot of games.
Oh, wow. This is a video game podcast,
Yeah.
and the guy says he's playing a lot of games.
You know, doing that
Awesome.
kind of thing. Gotta
Awesome.
have something to talk about.
Oh, I haven't played any video games, so should I just kick myself off this podcast?
Yeah. See ya.
Nope, bye. Anyways, Retro Hero Podcast. We're a gaming podcast about retro video games,
Yeah.
believe it or not. Holy shit.
Loosely based on gaming. I mean, we go on
Loosely.
tangents, but
Yeah, maybe.
that's the main
But-
draw.
Yeah. And if you've listened to us before, or if you like what you hear later down in this episode, you can hit us up on our Facebook. We're at facebook.com/Retro Hero Podcast. We have an email address if you have any questions. Nobody has any questions.
Wait, we do have a question.
Oh, we do actually.
We kind of touched on it last episode.
I know I'm a
but
little bit of
let's
a
hit it hard.
pessimist though. I like the pessimist route. So I like to go that route and say that nobody likes us. So like even if like in the odd chance that we become a big podcast, I still want to do the pessimist route and be like,
course.
nobody likes us. Nobody.
We suck.
But you can email us at retroheropodcast@gmail.com. And if you actually think that we are deserving of your money, which we're not, but we'll take it anyways, you can hit us up at patreon.com/retrohero.
Yep, Patreon is where it's at if you want to help us out and make the show better. Give us more resources to work with because, you know, we're like no budget right now. Not even low budget. We are no budget.
We are below George Lucas for Star Wars Episode 4. We're below
Dude.
yeah, any movie from Army of Darkness. We're below that budget.
Any third world country that's
Yeah.
waiting for America to come in.
We're
and
below a
save them.
Bollywood video budget.
Golimar.
Golimad. But anyways, so one of our new things that we want to do with our Season 2 of the Retro Hero podcast is we're actually going to have some guests on. And for our very first awesome guest, thank you for joining us, is one of my best friends growing up in Texas, Mr. Christopher Vassilico. Thanks for...
Hey,
yeah, heyo.
Welcome.
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. He's also the guy that designed our logos, so if you really like our logos, this is the man. He's kind of our graphic artist on the side.
If you want to wear his shit, we have a TeePublic page where you can go on to, and we have some T-shirt designs with some of his work on there. So if you want to... My sister is the only one who has it right now, but she's a walking billboard.
Yeah, Chris, you should know that. His sister actually bought a T-shirt with one of your logos on it, man.
Yeah.
You should feel pretty proud of that.
That is pretty sweet.
Free advertising. Free.
How many, so, all right, let's talk about your, first off, we'll talk about your YouTube page.
Yeah, tell us what you tell us what you do, man. I mean, I know you're a gamer. That's why you're here. But what do you do in your for your professional life?
Let's see. Well, starting with the channel, it's primarily art and animation, sometimes video game,
Good shit.
sometimes anime, sometimes just really stupid shit that nobody really wants to see, but I put up there anyway.
Yeah, but I gotta say, man, like when I go on your YouTube, you actually have quite a few views and followers, man. I would say you have a pretty good size following as it is right now. I mean, I know you want to grow, but I'm jealous.
Yeah, I barely met the 2018 guidelines
Yeah,
for
nice.
YouTube.
Hell yeah, they're pretty steep,
but yeah,
aren't they? What are the deadlines? I mean, the guidelines now to be monetized.
Okay, so the subscriber count isn't that high. You have to have at least 1,000 subscribers to be monetized. What gets people is the view time. I believe it's 40,000 hours or something. It's some ridiculous amount where you have to have people. Yeah,
That is a lot. So, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like those new policies. What is your feelings on them?
Well, I have mixed feelings. At first, I wasn't a fan of it, and I was looking for other. I mean, that's the thing is you can't really jump on board with someone else because no one else is competing with them right now. Twitch is kind of getting there, but now at first I wasn't in favor of it, but the more and more I hear these larger, what would you call them, YouTubers, talk about it, apparently it's going to be better for the people who did make the cut because it's going to free up more money. It's going to get rid of all of the what would you call it, like toxicity inside of the platform and everything. So
that's good, man. Well, I'm glad you made a cut, dude. That's badass. Congrats.
Thank you.
He's like, I only have 1,000 subscribers. That's like 1,000 more than we have right now, Chris. So I think.
Well, I have almost 4,000.
Oh,
damn, bro, nice. That's impressive. Like I said, dude, that's pretty impressive. Based on
I've noticed you upload a lot, which I guess is like key to being a big YouTuber for sure. So
yeah, I noticed one today. You upload like Vegeta transformations video. I was digging that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be that's what I'm working on right now. Actually, is it's gonna go through all of his transformations and it's animated. It's got all the aura change and everything.
Yeah, I noticed you do a lot of Dragon Ball stuff, so that's cool. Yeah.
That's my main inspiration.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So Brad, like Chris and I, like growing up, like that's like basically what. I mean, Chris, I think we could agree is like Dragon Ball Z is what got you in the animation. Is that correct?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, it was like just growing up with Chris, we would
that's awesome.
Run home from middle school to get to watch Dragon Ball Z at home on
Dragon Ball
Toonami.
Dragon Ball Z is soap opera for like middle schoolers, dude. I swear, dude. Because even though like not much happened usually, you were fucking just ready for that next episode, man. It was always a cliffhanger.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I never got into animation, but I do remember one of my most fond memories is Dragon Ball Z also got me into anime, and it got me into drawing. So back in the day, like in high school, my buddy would come over, same thing. We'd watch Dragon Ball Z, and we'd like sketch the characters. Like as we would watch, you know, we would like try and like draw and sketch and learn how to do that style. So I mean, I've got those pictures somewhere. Actually, they're still around here somewhere. Those sketches I did of all the fucking characters.
Some of the stuff that Chris does though, like really, like when I see some of his work, and I'm not like trying to, you know, pump you up, Chris, but like some of your stuff, it's like I've seen your art, and I'm like, man, that almost looks like Akira Toriyama.
Yeah. Oh, for
like,
sure.
It's like really, really accurate.
Thanks, man.
So, yeah.
Make my face blush.
Yeah. Not trying to, but I'm just being serious. But,
yeah, so you guys, I mean, you guys obviously, I mean, I knew Chris from high school, but you guys grew up together, so.
Yeah, we really met in like, I think I've known him since second grade, but we didn't become like super close till like fourth grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
When we had the same teacher, and then it was.
Did your eyes like meet? You know.
Oh yeah.
And, like your gaze met.
Yep.
Longingly.
Miss Fisher's class, we were just chilling, and we locked eyes, and it was love at first sight.
Can you feel the love? Look at you guys.
Yeah.
We were reading the same Goosebumps book.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We probably
were.
You?
Which one?
Do you? I don't
Go to the
remember.
basement or what was?
It was the one with the dummy, probably.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Dude, the one
Ventriloquist
Goosebumps,
dummy.
the Goosebumps book that got me the most as a kid. I forgot the name of it, but it was like this ghost dog that was like barking in this dude's backyard, and it just wouldn't leave him alone. For some reason, as a kid reading that, it just fucked with me, dude. Like I was scared to look out my window at night because I thought there was gonna be this like fucking just ghost dog with red demon eyes gazing into my soul.
I don't remember that one. The
name
one
of it.
I remember was like where it was like the haunted mask, where the kid put on the mask and he couldn't take it off. That was like one of the classic.
Oh, the haunted mask.
Classic R.L. Stein.
See, Goosebumps, like, I remember having a ton of Goosebumps books, but I maybe only read, like, 5 of them. But I had, like, fucking 30 of them. Just
yeah,
like,
so
they
many
were,
kids would, like, collect them for, like, the covers. But then they, like, didn't read the books because, you know, we're Americans and we don't fucking read.
Just reading.
I need pictures.
Yep. I need picture books. But, anyways.
Do you remember the Goosebumps? Sorry, one more thing about Goosebumps. Do you remember the Goosebumps books that had, like, the Choose Your Own Adventure?
Yeah.
There's a few of them where you could go through and, like, kind of. I remember one had this on the cover. There was, like, a crocodile, like a giant crocodile or some shit. It was like you were at a carnival or something. You had to, like, choose your own adventure through that shit, dude. Fucking hell yeah.
What?
Like,
I didn't know that.
It's like Dungeons and
Yeah, I
Dragons.
had it. You don't remember that, Chris? I had that. I know exactly which book he's talking about. Where it was like you'd be like, do you want to go through this hallway? Go turn to page 54. If not, go to page 127. Yeah. And you could like die and like be the end like very quickly.
You did.
That reminds me of that Family Guy episode where he's like reading a book like that, and he's like, "Okay, do I want to take the left or I want to take the right?" And then he's like, "Okay, turn to page 73," and then he finds out he dies. And he's like, "Oh, wait!" He turns back. And he's like, my finger never left the page, Lois.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, technically, you die, you just go back. I mean, whatever. No one knows. It's like a video game.
It is kind of.
Yeah. So you said you're doing a little bit of rebranding for your YouTube channel. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so pretty much with all the beautiful algorithm changes that YouTube implements every quarter, have to kind of get away from doing animation. That's the worst part about YouTube is being in art and animation because it takes so long, whereas these other guys can do like daily logs and pump out 10 times as much content as I can. But yeah, so the rebranding is pretty much just so I don't have to just do art and animation. I can do a let's play or a vlog or something. So I can put minutes out there to watch, or I guess hours.
Yeah, you need 40,000 of them, so you better get cracking on that.
Yeah, something crazy like that. I can't remember what it is, but yeah. So the whole rebranding is just one, try to get away from the anims part where people are looking for animation, and then two, we kind of touched base on this earlier, but there's another YouTuber out there named CB Animations, and so didn't know that when I went into it. So
fuck that guy.
No, that's
He's got some good stuff. He does sprite animations.
Oh,
I think
cool.
some of it's video game too.
Nice.
Oh, nice. So before we talk about your video gaming expertise or lack thereof, why don't you just pimp out your channel? Pimp out your channel for us.
Where do you find you on YouTube and Twitter? Where are you at? Or are you Facebook?
Okay, so I just recently rebranded everything. I think the day before yesterday, I got all the names switched over. Everything except Facebook and I think Tumblr. A couple of them won't let you change your name, but it's either going to be Unicorn Flex, and if you can't find it that way, it's going to be CV Anims. But I think on Facebook you can actually pull up both of them because the @ tag is Unicorn Flex, but the actual name is CV Anims. So I mean that might be better just to leave both of them.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll hopefully our listeners check that out. You should. It's some good shit over there. So.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Chris, why don't you, since you're here, why don't you kind of tell everyone, because we want to have you back in the future. Why don't you tell everyone a little about your gaming history? Like, what are your inspirations? Where did you start? What was your first system? What's your most favorite memory? Give us some of that rundown.
Okay, first system. John knows this, but it was TurboGrapx 16.
Oh shit! Really? Wow. Not many people can say that for their first system. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we had two of them. So.
Nice.
It was boss. Where you could play Bomberman with, like, what was it, 6-player?
What?
5-player.
5-player.
Oh,
green
that's a nice round number.
And the green, the 5th player was a green Bomberman. It was just so insane. Like, TurboGrafx 16 was, like, almost ahead of its time.
Yeah.
But it just didn't sell well.
There's some great games on there. Like, I know you can get some of the games from like, on the Switch and stuff. It wasn't, like, Metal Slug on TurboGrafx? Yeah, dude. I love Metal Slug. So, it was an underrated system, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that eventually evolved into other things. There's like there's Shockman. Yeah, I mean, I think Mega Man was actually before it, but I want to say like the more modern Mega Man remind me of Shockman.
Sorry to cut you off on that, but that's the one game I really remember playing with Vassilico.
Shockman
was but the thing was, the coolest thing is it was very much a Mega Man clone, but it was like it had a more dimensions to it, but the best part about it was its 2-player co-op.
Oh,
hell yeah, that was awesome.
Fuck yeah,
so you could play as Shockman, and then it was like his girlfriend was like a red shock woman.
Ooh,
yeah.
Did you give her Shocker? Was that her like special ability, the Shocker? One of the two.
That game was tough as nails, though.
Yeah, nice. Most games back then were.
Yeah, but. Yeah, go on, Chris. Let's talk a little bit more about that TurboGrafx 16, like Super Bonk and everything, or not
Super
just Bonk Adventures.
It was just Bonk's Adventure.
Do you still have do you still have this thing, or is it long gone?
We still have it. It is in working condition.
Nice, dude. Fuck yeah.
The second one we've never even taken out of the box. The only thing we did is we broke the cable on the AC adapter on one, so we had to open the box to get the adapter out.
Wow, dude.
But other than that, it's in like pristine condition,
That is
never been
awesome.
removed. Yeah.
That's cool.
We have some good game. Hudson, like New Adventure Island,
Oh, yeah.
games like that. I think those originated on there. Maybe not, but they were definitely on there.
No, I think those did originate on the TurboGrafx.
Fuck
I
yeah.
want to say, not for sure, but I think you're right. How have you looked like on eBay or anything like that? How much like a pristine TurboGrafx 16 would go for these days?
Some of them were going pretty high.
Nice.
Well, I say high, but I mean they were like $300 or $400, which is like something modern.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, since we opened the box, you couldn't get away with doing like, mint condition or anything like that.
That sucks. Yeah, hold on to that thing though, man. You never know, dude. One day those things can be. Let's think about that retro gaming hardware, dude. Like now, I would never sell that shit, dude. Like, if I had an NES or original Super Nintendo, I'd never sell that thing ever.
Yeah.
I still have my original Super Nintendo. I never had an NES actually.
Yeah. I had one. I bought one from my friend at a garage sale for $10. I got the NES, the Zapper, 2 controllers, like 25 games, dude. And my idiot ass in high school sold it or something. I want to get the new game. So like back then, you don't fucking, you don't have, you're just stupid. I'd go back and smack myself. But yeah, I sold my box of my NES, dude. I had the game Genie, had like all the original sleeves and shit. That's one of my biggest regrets as a gamer is selling that whole package. Fucking idiot.
So Chris, I'm gonna tell you a funny story about like video gaming growing up, and then I want to hear like if you have any as well, but it has to do with being over at your place. And I still remember we were in probably junior high, maybe 5th grade, and it was your sister that had the Super Nintendo in her room. And I remember one night I stayed the night at your place, and I guess I was playing probably Super Mario World or some Super Nintendo game. And you passed out. Like, you went to your room and you passed out, and I think I pulled damn near an all-nighter playing Super Mario World. And I think I fell asleep in your sister's room. She was, like, over at a friend's house, I think, for that night. She wasn't there. But when I woke up in a room covered with NSYNC posters and Justin Timberlake posters everywhere, and I think I had almost like a heart attack at
It's a nightmare, dude.
11 years old, and I just remember being like, where the fuck am I? Like, what's going on? Like,
teenage girl hell.
Yeah, it was just one of those,
You couldn't
sorry,
see
bro.
the paint on her walls.
couldn't.
There was so many
Oh my
NSYNC and Justin
God,
Timberlake
dude.
posters.
Oh, no.
with the curly fro and everything.
Yeah, the old school 90s, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so glad
The ramen
that
noodle
era
hair.
of
Yep,
music-
yep.
I'm glad that era of that genre really died out because it kind of has. Like, you don't really see a lot of boy bands anymore, but oh my god.
Yeah,
dude.
but Justin Timberlake was the halftime show at the Super Bowl, so it's
fuck,
like,
it's so terrible. It's so dude, the halftime shows have been terrible for
Yeah.
so long now. I'm just getting tired of it.
But yeah, Chris, do you have any other like funny memories, like growing up playing video games, or any fond memories of?
Yeah. So yeah, what's your favorite system and your favorite game? Let's go there.
Yeah.
Or your favorite series.
Wow.
Ooh, I haven't really thought about it too much, but I know the last time I put some good thought into it, the GameCube was probably one of my favorite.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good choice, man.
systems.
Underrated system, I think.
And Thousand Year Door, Mario,
Oh fuck yeah.
Paper Mario.
Hell yeah. That was the last good Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome game. I love Paper Mario because they have such a good sense of humor. It's like actual funny jokes, not just lame kid jokes. Like I love
Yeah,
those
the
Paper Mario
writers.
games because they're so on point, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they brought it over with like the Mario and Luigi
Yeah,
saga
Fuck
games,
yeah.
that humor.
Those are good
yeah,
too.
but the
yeah.
last few Paper Marios have kind of gone downhill, man. I mean, the what was the one on the 3DS? It was like Sticker Star or some bullshit.
I haven't even
like,
played that one,
fucking-
but yeah.
Give me a break. Come on.
Yeah, I haven't played any of those card systems. I think the last two were they kind of went like the Kingdom Hearts route, where it was like, hey, here's one style of gameplay, and then nobody asked for anything like this, and they're like, let's just throw fucking turn-based cards in here.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh god.
who
dude.
asked for that?
Kingdom Hearts, I had to say, is probably like I picked up the 3DS Dream Drop Distance when it first came out. Had to get the fucking like extra thumb pad, the extra joystick attachment for my 3DS and shit. And dude, that story was so fucking confusing. I have to say Kingdom Hearts has the most, like, if you're not a diehard fan from the beginning, you're not dropping in, dude. Like, you're not dropping in unless you go back and, like, read the fucking mangas and, like, play all the fucking shitty cell phone games and all that. I don't know, dude. Like, that story just, I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
It's easily the most confusing video game story. But with that 2.8,
when I first played it, I loved the game. Like, it was awesome. The first one, the second one were awesome, but now it's like, dude, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
It's
that 2.8 HD one that came out for PS4, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently what it does is it consolidates all the games in there, and then the ones that were like little shitty handheld or cell phone games, they converted them into like CGI movies.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can still watch this. You can play the game, and then you watch cutscenes in between the games, and then you play 2 final mix, and then you're all caught up for Kingdom Hearts 3.
I'll pass. Hard pass.
See, that's probably something I would need. So, I mean, yeah, you're a big Kingdom Hearts fan, right? So, I mean, like, are you excited for 3?
I am so stoked for 3. Nice. I wouldn't call myself a big fan because I still don't. I mean, I watch the trailers for 3 and see characters in there, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? You know, like I put 100+ hours in both 1 and 2, and I don't have any idea who some of these people are.
Yeah, I tried to play the 3DS or not the DS game. It was like 350 something and a half or some weird number, and bro, oh my god, I tried to truck through it because I was like, I want to know the Kingdom Hearts story, and like I tried to blast through it, but dude, it just gets to a point where like you need like the fucking Charlie Day from Always Sunny, like where he's got the fucking like the board with all like the red fucking strings
all the yarn
tied. Like, you gotta have that, dude, to fucking get that story, dude, because it's just that confusing. At least I thought
fucking
so.
confusing.
At least I thought so.
It is.
It's just ridiculous. But leave it. That's a lot of Japanese shit can be confusing.
I mean, this takes the cake though.
Yeah,
this is like
definitely the worst.
Because every person has like 2 different incarnations of themselves.
Dude, I thought Neon. Okay, like Neon Genesis Evangelion is my all-time favorite anime, and I thought that story was fucking convoluted. But like when I go to Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, dude, that shit's fucking easy compared to this bullshit. And that shit's fucking convoluted.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What do you describe for me? What's going on in Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I see this green Goofy that looks like he took like 7 hits of acid.
He's on Monsters Inc.
And like I don't know what's going on.
That's the Monsters Inc. acid, as they call it.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. Man, to be honest, I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it.
That's what they're
from what it
basically
sounds like on the last trailer is. Riku's, I guess it happened in 2 actually, but Riku's out of the darkness. He doesn't have that plaguing him anymore. But it sounds like now he's kind of like setting up someone else to take his place in a sense. And then I kind of get the vibe that they're kind of setting up the next generation of Keyblade wielders, stuff like that. But I mean, I could be wrong.
You may be right. You never know.
You lost me about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. So, Chris, what video games are you playing right now? Like, what? I know you've become more of a PC master racer over the years. So, what are you doing right now?
Let's see. The most recent game I have put any time into is Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Fuck yeah. On PC, of
Pretty
course,
sweet.
right?
On PC, of course, yeah.
PS4 version. So, yeah, what do you think about it? Have you got a lot of chance to play it, to get into it?
Man, I loved it. Like for the first day I got it, I sat there and probably sat down for 4 or 5 hours straight and just played it through the story. Because there was no online mode. All the servers were shot to shit. But once I got online, man, I got my ass handed to me like 10 times in a row. So, I mean, to be honest, I'm a little salty over it because I feel like I don't enjoy it anymore because, you get such a different experience online versus playing the story.
Yeah,
but,
to me, I bought the game more for just kind of local multiplayer. I'm not that much of a fighting game enthusiast. I mean, I love fighting games, but I just suck unless I really put the time into them, obviously. But I'm loving Dragon Ball. I did go online a few times. Like you said, I just got my ass kicked, dude. Like it wasn't even a fucking chance. But
yeah.
I go through the arcade mode quite a bit to just kind of practice right now, and I haven't really done much of the story yet, but I'm liking Gotenks a lot. Gotenks and Android 18 are kind of my two of my go-tos right now. What about you?
Let's see. Piccolo, I think, is my favorite right now.
Stretchy arm.
Yeah, the stretchy
arm is so good.
I be kicking it with.
Pig all out. And we
My
don't
top 3 is probably gonna be.
give no fucks.
Let's see. Piccolo would be number 1. 2, Goku, and then 3, Adult Gohan.
Nice. I do like Adult Gohan. I don't like his regular key attack, but I do like his combos and his specials quite a bit.
That's actually I have the same pet peeve with him. I don't like his regular key because it's a strong attack.
Yeah, but it's just like a one blast. You can't rapid fucking just blast it like you can with everyone else. But yeah, like I said, Go Tanks is my favorite, man. I love his special. I just, for some reason, I just play well with him. I don't know. I think he's kind of like high risk, high reward, I feel like, where he's really fast and aggressive, but you can get caught up pretty easy with him if you're not careful.
Yeah, he's kind of like a glass cannon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, love the game, man. I fucking love the cutscenes, love the special attacks, dude. It looks like you're watching the fucking show.
Oh yeah, the art is so beautiful.
This is the Dragon Ball game we've wanted forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Chris, I feel like this video game should have came out when we were in middle school.
Fuck, dude.
Like
Dude,
I feel like we got robbed. Our childhood
Yeah, we
got
never
robbed.
got off.
I mean, Budokai was probably the best we had, like Budokai 1 and 2, you know, growing up.
Yeah.
I do remember I had I forget the name of it, but I had a Japanese import Dragon Ball Z game, and you had to put in this fucking like hack disc with the spring.
Oh, the mod chip?
Yeah, you had to do like a spring inside the
PS1.
On the PS1, you did a spring where the lid closed. You put this like PS Exchange disc in there, ran that, threw in the fucking Japanese import, and you know we couldn't read anything, so we just had to figure out the menus on our own. But dude, it came out in the 90s, but it was after Dragon Ball Z had ended in Japan, so it had everything up to the Buu Saga, 2D. It was I think you could pick a team of 2 or 3 as well, like Dragon Ball Fighters.
Which one was that, Vassilico? Because I feel like we played that game, right?
I could look it up
if it's
quick.
sprites, it's Ultimate Battle 22.
Yeah.
If it's 3D, then it's Final Bout.
No, it's Ultimate Battle
you're
22.
Right. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Ultimate Battle 22.
That's
that one's
gotta be
the
it.
fucking shit.
Yeah, I remember playing that. I don't remember who of our friends had it, but I remember somebody got the spring, somebody did the hacked PS1, and I remember we played it.
Yeah, that was the only reason I got a PS1, and it was the actual like PS1, like the small one.
That's it. Ultimate Battle 22. That was the disc I had right there. That is it. Yeah, that game was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was a boss.
I love all the cutscenes for the games like that because they were all hand drawn by the original studio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It had all the original voice actors too, if I recall. It had all the original Japanese voice actors. Got to look at it.
No, actually. I don't know about 22, but Final Bout, here's an interesting tidbit here is, do you ever watch Cowboy Bebop?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, oh man, what's his name? Steve Blum? Steve Blum? He's the one who voiced Spike Spiegel.
Yes, oh, okay.
He was actually Goku in Final Bout.
Oh, that's cool.
Dragon Ball GT Final Bout.
Yeah, that's cool tidbit there. You were watching some Ultimate Battle 22.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, Chris, but
God,
yeah, I'm watching.
This game is I remember like the ability to like teleport and hit him up in the air, down. Just dude, yeah, this game was ahead of its time.
Chris, are you still subscribing to the fact that Keanu Reeves should play Spike in a live action Cowboy Bebop movie?
Yes.
Dude, I'm actually. I mean, joking about it, yeah, I think Keanu Reeves would be the best one, but I'm really upset that they're doing a live-action Cowboy Bebop.
Dude, they're turning all this anime into live-action now. And it's really
you saw what happened to Death Note.
Oh, God,
I didn't watch
yeah.
Death Note, but the Ghost in the Shell remake with Scarlett Johansson was trash.
I haven't even seen that, but I heard it wasn't that
Ghost
good.
in the Shell is one of my all-time favorite animes, and just like, oh, dude, the adaptation was garbage. I'm sorry. It was trash. It was trash.
I actually like that one, but it's because I'm not into Ghost in the Shell. Like, I've seen it so many times, I still can't tell you what it's about.
Yeah.
But I watched the movie, and I had a better understanding. I was like, okay.
It's kind of like a Matrix-esque storyline, It's similar to that, so. But yeah, bro, fucking hell, Ghost in the Shell. I love all those old school. For me, my anime, the shit I like is the old school like 80s movies, like Akira, Ninja Scroll, Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, yeah.
All that shit, dude. That's the shit I grew up on.
The Gundam Wing.
Dude, yeah, Gundam Wing.
Yes.
Endless Waltz, dude. When that shit came
Oh,
out.
Endless Waltz is so good.
Yes. So
I just found out the other day Endless Waltz isn't canon, and it kind of bummed me out.
Huh.
I've heard about that too.
I did not know that.
So I don't know if you guys have played it yet. I'm trying to remember what the but there's a Gundam Wing Street Fighter.
Yeah, we played it at Retro Expo. He showed it to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can get it.
Yes.
I forget what it's
I know
called.
exactly
I think it's
about.
like Endless Battle or something like that. Endless Bout. It's amazing.
Yeah, endless.
If you can get it, like, I don't promote, emulation, but like
Yeah, you do.
there's Super Nintendo. I do, but I don't. For sake of
Officially on the books, we don't.
I don't want Snowden listening in on my stuff. But
he's on your side, man.
yeah. Pardon Snowden. But what I'm trying to say is like that's such an awesome, really awesome beat 'em up or two fighter game on the Super Nintendo.
We should see if we can get our
definitely
hands on it,
recommend
dude. We should see if we get our hands on it. Do some
Endless Duel.
Endless Duel. There you go.
Endless Duel. Nice.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And it's you can do combos. You can do you can pick from any of the Gundams,
That's
like
badass.
any of them.
Dude,
you imagine it, you could pick that Gundam.
There hasn't been a Gundam game in a while. I think the Dynasty Warriors team is working on another one because there's like those Dynasty Warriors Gundam crossovers, which I never really played. I'm not a huge Dynasty Warriors fan, but yeah, dude, a good Gundam game needs to happen, especially with like now that seeing what they can do with Dragon Ball Fighters, what they can do to keep shit so close to that source material. Dude, I would kill for like now like a Gundam game or just any other anime into a video game with that kind of art style. Holy shit.
Dude, that studio's going to blow up the next 5 years.
I think so. I mean, they were already really big in the
fighting
game community, but I think now they're going to go mainstream. I really think they will.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like Blaze Blue was... I never played Guilty Gear too much, but I played quite a bit of Blaze Blue, and
I'm a big Guilty Gear guy.
I always love
Guilty Gear.
Their animation, dude, is just fucking on point, man. They get it. They know how to do 2D fucking cell shading the best, I think.
Yeah. But anyways, Chris, what outside of Dragon Ball Fighters, what are you playing anything else right now, or are you just is that the whole thing
he doesn't
that's
have
taking
a
up
Switch,
your...
so I mean,
yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that,
Mr. Nintendo over here.
You know, you got to give it a year buffer just to make sure all the kinks are out.
Shit. But what are you playing anything else other than Dragon Ball Fighters?
I mean, I bounce back and forth a little bit. Ukulele.
Oh, nice.
I go back to WoW like probably every other 2 months or something.
Oh, sorry.
Speaking of ukulele, I'm assuming you play it on PC. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your initial thoughts on that? Because I've heard at least like the Switch version really like fixed a lot of the problems, especially like camera issues. But like I haven't played ukulele yet. I'm thinking about possibly getting it on my Switch. But like, what's your initial thoughts on that game? I know, like, especially I guess like to give some background to our listeners is that you and I especially bonded over the Banjo-Kazooie series. It's a series that is like very near and dear to my heart. I know it is to yours as well. So like, what's your thoughts on ukulele?
My very initial thought was kind of disappointed because, you know, they hadn't released that patch. So, you know, I jump into the game and you have just kind of funky controls and it was just day one stuff that shouldn't have been there. And there's a quote I read. I wish I could quote it like perfectly, but it was something along the lines of, "It's something new, but not quite rare." And it was kind of a pun on, you know, this isn't rare.
From what I've heard, the levels are almost like too big. Like it's overwhelming how large they are. I mean, I know it's a collectathon, but I mean, just that's kind of some of the critiques I've heard. Obviously, the controls and the camera, but from what I've heard, the stages are just too big.
You know, I got that feeling from Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah.
But with this game, I think it's okay. You know, it is a collectathon. It gives you a little bit of exploration. It's not, I wouldn't even call it exploration, but it does, you know, buy some time because you're like, hey, what's over here? What's over here? Yeah. But it's nothing like just thrown at you like, oh my god, I'm so tired of walking. But I have to say, after all the patches and everything that's gone into it, and being subscribed to like Grant Kirkhope and all the other guys at Platonic, and just kind of hearing, you know, their stories and everything, it's good. I'm not going to say it's a great game, but it's a good game.
Maybe, hopefully, their next, if there's a sequel or their next game, can maybe learn from their mistakes, because you know those guys are talented. But obviously, with a lot of these kind of kickstarted games, I've noticed they often don't meet expectations. Like look at Mighty Number 9, obviously Ukulele.
Mm-hmm.
The next big one on the slate is Bloodstained. So hopefully that can.
I'm
hopefully
crossing
that's
my
the
fingers for that game.
Yeah,
you know me.
Fuck yeah, yeah. Bloodstained is gonna hopefully be good and break that trend of these overhyped kind of crowd-funded games that in the end don't really deliver on the nostalgia.
I feel like because Playtonic was back though so largely with Ukulele, I'm hoping that whatever their next project is, because they're absolutely will be, whether it's a sequel to Ukulele or something
There'll
else.
be something, yeah.
There's going to be something, and I hope like this was kind of like them getting their feet wet, because it was very. I mean, gosh, I think there was less than 20 people that worked on that game, if I remember correctly.
Impressive.
And it's just like. I feel like maybe I'm hoping that was like them getting their feet wet, and then now they can, now that they're settled in, they can maybe release a game that's maybe more up to what the high expectations of their audience and their backers. I'm hoping that will be for their next game.
Because dude, the video game world needs those original Rare guys, because I feel like without them, I mean, ever since the N64 era ended and they left, it's like, dude, there's a hole. There's a definite hole. I mean, there are indie developers who've kind of filled that gap, but dude, Rare was so unique, and their games were always such high quality. I really miss that studio, man. I miss that studio in its prime.
Yeah, I mean, I have a theory with not just Playtonic Gaming, but these Kickstarter people as well. But you get all these people who are really good at designing games, or doing the art, doing the music, and et cetera, but the last thing they look to is like, well, who's going to be our captain? Who's going to be the director? Who's going to tell us where to put our talent? And that's what a lot of these guys don't do. They're just like, hey, we could do this. We've done it before, but they don't think about the blueprint to it.
Yeah, they're almost banking fully on nostalgia versus actually creating a really good game that they're capable of.
Exactly. And then Ukulele specifically, I mean, these are the guys who made the 90s as far as the video game industry.
That like 3D collectathon game, dude.
Donkey Kong Country Series
shit.
2.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Fuck yeah, dude! One of the best racing games of all time.
Yeah.
Some people even like that more than Mario Kart and shit, dude. I mean, Rare.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All know Rare is.
Oh, Chris and I sank hundreds of hours into Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, dude. Rare is one of those developers I really miss, man. I mean, fuck, dude. I miss that logo.
Microsoft killed Rare, man.
Yeah, they did.
I remember playing Perfect Dark Zero on the 360, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? Because I was a huge Perfect Dark fan on the 64. Man. I was like, I played that game more than GoldenEye, which is hard to believe because I played a lot of GoldenEye. But Perfect Dark, that was their last good game, man. That was their magnum opus.
The last hurrah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like we said, hopefully Playtonic can learn, and their next game will be better. Because, dude, those indie games, like, I've been playing. I beat Golf Story. Speaking of indie games, I beat Golf Story, amazing game. But I've been playing Celeste. Dude, that fucking game. Celeste is goddamn amazing right now.
Yeah, Brad just let me play about 5-10 minutes of it, and I'm already hooked. Like, that's my next purchase. I'm buying Celeste on my Switch.
Yeah, if you ever played Super Meat Boy or VVVVV, like some of those just ultra difficult platformers where death is almost part of the game. You're expected to die over and over again to learn the game. That's kind of what Celeste is. And dude, I'm fucking loving it. The music is on point. The story's actually good. Like a lot of these kind of games, I'm like, whatever. The story just kind of blow through it. But this one's actually keeping my attention, and it deals a lot with. From what I've gathered so far, this girl's climbing this mountain. You don't really know her true reasons yet, but there's obviously something she's out to prove. And the game deals a lot with, seems like, anxiety or just social issues. So that's kind of interesting. It's a little more serious tone to it, but the gameplay and the music are just. I love
I really love the soundtrack though. Yeah. Just the little amount that I listen to just in playing.
And it gets so much.
It has a very Shovel Knight-esque.
It does. And it was composed
it.
by a woman. I forget her name, but she composed the soundtrack on her own. And what I love about it is as you progress through the levels, the soundtrack kind of builds on itself, and it gets more and more complex. The melodies get
it has like a very
deeper.
chilly atmosphere to it, which is exactly you're climbing a nice mountain, and it's just.
Yeah, and the game is definitely not the super cheery, happy game.
No,
it's
not
definitely
at all.
got more of more of a
isolated.
Yeah,
you feel
isolated.
very isolated.
Has a I wouldn't call it a Metroidvania, but it definitely has some
Elements.
sprinkles of it in there.
Elements, for
but
sure.
yeah, I'm fucking loving it, man. There's been some parts that I've struggled with, but you get through them. You just got to keep at it, man.
So Chris, when are you getting a Switch, man? Honestly, like real talk. I'm gonna put you on the spot in the podcast. When are you buying a Switch?
I will have one before summer. I know that. To be honest, I was man. One thing I didn't think is I didn't even know it was out. It's barely been out a year.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, fourth quarter last year, I was telling everyone, I was like, okay, we already got a year on the Switch. Let's see when they come out with this new XL version or, the I version or the Super version.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone was like, dude, it hasn't even been out a year. And I went and looked it up. I'm like, oh, dude, you're right, man. I guess I have like another year on top of that to see if they come out with another version.
You better get your ass on that shit now, dude. No more waiting a year. You better have a Switch by the summer. Yeah. We're going to hold you to that. If you don't have
if
you don't have one, we're going to
I'll have one in a month.
Also the main reason why I asked him that is because Brad won't believe me, but Chris, I think you are the best Mario Kart 8 player I've ever played against. So, and Brad likes to talk a lot of shit. And
I mean, I'm kind of a big deal on Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Because like
he's legit, dude.
We've tried to. It's kind of not worked out the last couple of weeks, but we've tried to get this like Friday night Mario Kart thing going. So, dude, if you had a Switch, we could get some video going on that shit, get some shit talking going.
Oh, badass for sure.
Fuck yeah, dude. Mario Kart is life, dude.
No, for real. Do you think I'm good, Brad? Like,
I don't think you're good.
Oh, fuck off. Well, then you must be really bad if you don't think I'm good. But
fuck you.
Anyway,
dude. So
Chris is legit.
Yeah, dude. Celeste, Chris, you can get on PS4 and PC as well. I highly recommend checking that game out if you're into that kind of shit.
Yeah, I think Chris would like it. I know the kind of games he's into, and you like the platformer. It's pure platform.
Yeah,
craziness.
No enemies to kill. It's just straight platforming, difficult, fucking
wall jumping like Mega Man X type stuff. Like it's legit.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. I would recommend that. Yeah, but yeah, Golf Story. I played that. I beat it. Fucking love that game, man. Like, it was nice to go from like Horizon, some big AAA 3D beautiful game, to like I kind of had this urge just to play some indie kind of Switch games, handheld mode. So Golf Story was my first one. I fucking blew through it, dude. I've already beat it. One of my favorite Switch games so far. I think it's a Switch exclusive actually. So it may be one of my top 3 Switch games right now, dude. It's got a quirky sense of humor. Everyone tells you, like, what I love about the game is because you go through the whole game and you're fucking dominating everyone, but all the pros tell you suck. Like, you beat everyone, but like, yeah, well, your swing, you opened up your club face 0.2 degrees at the last minute, so your swing's not good. Like, everyone tells you suck through the whole game, but you just keep winning and keep going and keep fucking beating everyone. It's great, man. If you have a Switch and you haven't played Golf Story, fucking get that game.
If you're into that shit.
No, dude. Even if you're
I'm into golf.
Even if you're not into golf, dude. Like, yeah, it's a golf game at its core. It is a fucking golf game. You got the meter where you have to hit the meter at the right time to hit the power and all that shit. It's a golf game at its core, but it's so much more than that, dude. Fucking John, I can't wait till you play that game. You're gonna love it.
So Chris, we have one question for you. We're gonna put you on the spot a little bit, but what is your most proudest gaming achievement moment in your life?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Pressure.
And it's not sinking 500 hours into World of Warcraft. I hope not.
Yeah. What's your slash played?
Way more than 500
well,
hours.
You know
slash played. What's your slash played on WoW?
Dude, slash played, I'm not even kidding. It was like
he cried last time
amongst all of my characters. It was like a year. Yeah.
Damn, dude. I used to play MMOs, so I know the struggle. But yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, dude. The year is crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, your most proudest.
Man, honestly, I mean, I still tell people this today. Is Mario Kart 8 when it first came out, I held 11th place in the world on Royal Raceway.
Yeah, I remember when you were doing that time trial.
I love that track too. That's one of my favorites.
That's a good track. I don't know. That's probably it right there. There's nothing else I'm really like proud of. There's nothing I've done that like nobody else has ever done.
Well, it doesn't have to be that, or just maybe a game that you beat the game and it felt so liberating. Anything like that for you?
Ooh,
a final boss that just pissed you off so much and you finally won. And Anything like that?
Man, that's super on the spot. I don't know.
What about you, John? Like why he thinks? What do you got?
I can actually think of one that comes to mind with just even talking to Vassilico was when I beat the very first Banjo-Kazooie.
Nice.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was gonna be like,
he was watching
fucking Grunty.
Yeah, he was watching me fight Gruntilda for the very first time, and like I don't know, I died a lot. Obviously, but like when I finally, it was like, oh shit!
Yeah,
like,
triumphant.
That was up there. That ranks up there. I don't know if it's number one, but it's definitely up there on the list.
For me, it's being such a big Zelda fan. My whole life, I had never beat Zelda 2, and 3 or 4 years ago, I just sat down and I fucking beat that game. I finally just sat down and I fucking beat it. And okay, I use save states. I'll admit it. I use save states on my 3DS.
There's no shame in that.
But if you don't use save states in that game, fuck, you're fucked. But no, I did beat the game, and the combat, like I will say about Zelda 2 is like once you really learn the game, it's actually a good game. It's just such a hard barrier to get over. But once you're over that barrier of the combat, like knowing what to do, I actually had a lot of fun with that game.
Dude, honestly, I have not beaten that game. I'm not even going to attempt to try. I'm just going to give you props for doing it. Save states or not, that game is brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, props for sure.
It was tough. Yeah, that's definitely one of my most proud moments in gaming.
If you want to talk about like brutal games, though, I'd probably say Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Ooh,
I also use save states though.
Yeah, you have to.
But
games you have to, dude.
Even beating that game with save states was like so effing brutal.
Palms are sweaty.
Yeah, mom spaghetti,
dude. In Vita Vici, we have to go up and down through the fucking spikes, dude. Like, I will never forget that moment. I spent 4 hours in my 3DS in my hand, on my mom's couch.
Yeah.
Shit was covered in sweat. Dude, I was cursing a storm, bro, but, like, I finally beat that shit.
Chris, did you ever play that game? It used to be a Newgrounds game before they took it off Newgrounds, and then they made it into, like, you could get it on Nintendo's, 3DS, Wii U.
It's like V5 or VVVVV. I'm not sure the exact pronunciation of it, but it's...
Did you ever play that game? It's like a gravity altering game where you just go up and down from the ceiling and the floor.
Let me see. I'm looking at it. Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a moment in that game that is one of the most tough fucking moments I've ever gone through, man. But I got through it. That's what game is all about, though, right? Fucking getting over those tough moments.
Yeah. Very much in
and
the
not
same
using
line
Golden
of
Donkey Kong.
Super Meat Boy and
fucking Gold Donkey Kong.
Gold Donkey Kong. Yeah, no, you don't
not
get that
using that shit. Yeah, Super Meat Boy and Plus, all those like super just difficult 2D platformers, man. Those have kind of come back, which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
I also picked up Monster Hunter World on Friday. Started that bitch up. It's extremely overwhelming at first. I dabbled in the PSP Monster Hunter, but it was so overwhelming to me. I didn't have any friends playing it that I never really got into it. So this is my first true Monster Hunter experience.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
I'm liking it so far, man. Like I can really tell I'm going to get into this game.
In high school, I was really big into, I forget which Monster Hunter it was, but one of the PS2, and then it was also on PSP.
Yeah.
We did that. I did that, and really since then, I really haven't played much of the Monster Hunters, but because I'm hearing so many of my friends right now that are picking it up, you're picking it up as well, like I'm getting it for sure.
Yeah, dude, get that guild going.
It's happening. It's happening.
Retro Hero Guild.
And Chris needs to get on it too. I don't care. I'm going to put you on the spot. But
I'll get it.
Yeah,
it looks good.
You heard it here, folks.
Yep.
He just committed.
So we're going to blast
I promise.
Cool. So moving on. We already talked about Dragon Ball, so we'll skip over that. Some news. We'll get to some news here. Some interesting things have happened this week in the Nintendo-verse. So Metroid Prime 4 got announced at E3 last year. It was the best logo of all time.
Just a 4.
But, people were speculating who's actually making this game because, Retro Studios made Metroid Prime 1 through 3, and they've been kind of silent since Donkey Kong Country Returns. So a lot of people were thinking they were making a new one, but it actually turns out that Bandai Namco Singapore division is making the new Metroid Prime game. What do you think about that, John? How does it make you feel?
I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, it's not me being hesitant or thinking it's a bad thing, but I want to work with somebody that knows.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, they've developed 2 games.
A whole 2 games. Mario Sports Superstars and Tales of Berseria.
Tales of Berseria.
Berseria?
I have not played this one. I'm a pretty big Tales series fan. Haven't played this one, but
a whole 2 games. So, fun fact before I talk about Metroid Prime is in Singapore you can't chew bubblegum. I had a friend. She lived in Singapore for like a couple years, and they will throw you in jail for chewing bubblegum because they're very, very like uptight about pollution or trash and stuff. That like gum is not.
Well, I don't
okay.
really chew gum anyway, so it doesn't
I don't
affect
either,
me,
but I'm just saying
that's
like
kind of fucked up.
if you chew gum, you can get thrown in jail in Singapore, from what I've been told.
Good thing Duke Nukem's all out of bubble gum.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good thing.
You get fucked up in Singapore.
But, I mean, like, back to Metroid Prime 4, obviously I would prefer for Retro to be working on it, but because it's been so long since 3 and 4 came out, as long as they can stay true to the formula,
I'm interested,
and
man. Like,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, I just want it to be done right. Let them take their time. Let them not meet whatever deadlines. Don't rush it.
well,
Just make it how it should be, because I will say I'm a big fan of the Metroid Prime series, but I felt personally that 1 was the best, and it progressively got a little worse with 2.
I would agree.
And got a little worse with 3.
I would agree.
Some people, I mean, you may agree, some people may disagree, but like that, I just feel like the first one was the best, and it just didn't. They didn't make it any better. So I'm just hoping like maybe they can reinvent the franchise.
Well, I mean, look at
where it goes from there.
If you look at Metroid with Nintendo, obviously Retro Studios was kind of like a no name when they first made Metroid Prime. Then you look at the newest Metroid on the 3DS. I forget the name of the developer, but they were kind of a no name, and they did pretty well. I mean, obviously it was a port or a remake, so it wasn't like a fresh game. But who knows, man? Maybe Bandai Namco Singapore will be put on the map with this game and be a big time developer. You never know.
Hope so.
Nintendo, I think
Chris,
Nintendo knows what they're doing. So,
Chris, you're a bit you're big on Metroid Prime. I remember we played like the first one for sure, right? I mean, that was.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I didn't actually own it until they did the 1, 2, and 3 bundle release on the Wii.
Nice.
But I definitely enjoyed it. I'm not a big first-person shooter.
No. Yeah.
yeah, I mean they're shooters, but I feel like they're definitely a different breed of.
It's like a
of
first-person
shooter.
adventure shooter, though.
Yeah.
It's unlike almost any other first-person shooter game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not like a Halo or anything. You know, it's not like just fucking.
And I think that's what I like about it, because I'm not a big first-person shooter guy either. But I'll say Metroid Prime might be a top 10 game of all time, in my opinion.
Fuck yeah.
I'm dead serious. And
See, I never. I'll admit I didn't play 2 or 3 to completion, but the first one I got that for Christmas on my GameCube, and I just fucking a whole Christmas break I blasted through that game, and I fucking love it. I've got on the GameCube still, and we should bust it out. We should bust it out and play.
I'm game.
We should bust out how out.
Did y'all play it on the Wii?
I played.
No.
I didn't play the trilogy. I played number 3 on the Wii, and I liked it, but I just never beat it.
I heard they made the controls like a little bit better for the Wii version.
That's what I was going to say. Is like the actual controls are like you point the remote at the screen and you can aim wherever you want.
Yeah. And like doing the like whatever the little hook thing where you can like hook on and then like rope sling and stuff. Like I heard that's like a lot more fluid. In
I
the
wonder
Wii
if they'll
version.
incorporate motion controls into the new one, or if they'll just be more traditional, just controller-based first-person shooter. Who knows, man? I'm pretty excited for that game. I think it'll be good. I mean, Nintendo rarely puts their trust into a bad company, so yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a first party Nintendo game, which you would think wouldn't have anything wrong with it, but looking at Star Fox on the Wii U.
Good call there, honey, good call. Yeah, but that game, I've heard just like the forced motion controls are what killed that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh, definitely, I totally agree.
I mean, if you took that away and just gave traditional controls to the player, it'd be a good Star Fox game.
Yeah.
It's just
No, actually, funny story about that game, though, is I actually really wanted to buy it, but I talked to Chris because Chris had bought it, and I'm like, dude, what do you think? And he's just like, don't get it.
Chris, thanks for
He's like,
taking
don't
over the team.
save your
Thanks for taking
money.
one there.
Yeah,
Like, don't get it.
saving
dude.
people $60 across the
You
world.
definitely did for me. I
$60.
promise you that. Yeah,
That sucks, man. I wish Star Fox was given love like it deserves, or an F-Zero, a lot of those Nintendo franchises, but, they just want to suck Zelda and Mario cock endlessly. But I'm not going to complain. I mean, they're making great games.
the golden goose, man.
But I want some fucking variety, dude. Come on,
Yeah.
Nintendo. Give me some F-Zero. F-Zero would be so
Yeah.
good on the Switch, dude.
So when you come up here, and I'm going to blast you on this, you are coming up here to Portland one of these days. We have this place called Quarter World, and they have a Japanese arcade F-Zero machine.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing, dude. It's so amazing. It's like one of the first things we're going to get you to play, man, when we go there.
Yeah, like, you actually sit in the chair, and it has like the motion controls, and like the thing tilts, and it has the real steering wheel and everything.
You hit like
it's
the
the
boost and
GameCube
stuff.
F-Zero, just put into a fucking arcade machine.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
like GX Plus
Yeah,
or
it's GX.
something.
It's one of very few in the world actually that are still around. So it's cool that it's here in Portland. We'll have to take you there. Yeah, dude,
Sweet. Yeah, I'd like to do
you're
that.
Quarter World, bro. You're gonna fucking die when you go in there. They don't have that kind of shit in Houston. I don't
Quarter
think.
World and Ground Control.
Yeah, Ground Control is more like themed. I think it's more like the lights and you go in there, more atmosphere. But Quarter World's more, I think, like
Good
hardcore
games.
gamer.
Yeah.
You know, there's not as many kids. A little more chill.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on. Let's talk about Mario Kart Tour. So Nintendo announced this was inevitable. Their phone shit has kind of been hit or miss, but they're bringing a Mario Kart game to the cell phones. What do you guys think about that? You think it's going to be good? Do you think it's going to suck? Do you think it's going to tank?
I
It's
don't
going
know.
to
I mean,
enhance
it's
the Mario
like-
Kart experience.
I think they're just trying to milk Mario Kart way too much, honestly. And I mean, I could be wrong, and maybe they do a successful, mobile port. But the thing is like, if it is successful, this is what I'm kind of scared about. If it is successful, I'm probably going to lose my job because I'm going to be working and playing Mario Kart on my phone and not actually working. So I'm kind of hoping it fails just for my income's sake.
I want two things from this game. I want it to be able to connect to Mario Kart 8 in some way, or the newest Mario Kart. I want some sort of like be able to share your online profile or share your stats somehow. Some sort of connectivity that way. And B, it's got to control well. It's got to feel like Mario Kart. If they do some like when you go play the Mario Kart arcade game that's developed by Namco, it doesn't feel like Mario Kart. You play it has the characters, it has some of the tracks. It doesn't feel like you're playing Mario Kart. If they can nail down the controls, nail down the characters and the tracks, I think this has potential to be probably their best cell phone game so far.
Yeah, what do you think, Chris? When this was announced, what was your initial thoughts?
I personally think it's going to be watered down garbage.
Like Animal Crossing or
like Animal Crossing.
That's just getting shut down. You hear about that? They're actually taking
did.
Mitomo down because it
died.
just died.
It
man.
died after like
It just
2
sucks.
weeks.
The shit. I think with Nintendo, what their problem is, they're making this shit. They want to like create a lighter version of their franchises, but they're almost making them a little too light.
Yeah.
If you think about it, your cell phone, you have it with you all the time. You probably want something a little more deep on your cell phone.
Yeah.
And hopefully with Mario Kart Tour, they do that. I'm sure there'll be like a profile. Your stats will be saved. You can race your friends, obviously. Yeah. And then, there's going to be microtransactions.
My theory about Nintendo and going into the mobile world is that these games like the Miitomo, like whatever the Animal Crossing and the Mario Runner, I think they didn't put like a whole lot of effort in the games, almost on purpose though, because it's like they just I feel like they're trying to test their market and see how many people are jumping into it. And that was like kind of Pokemon Go too at the same time when they saw like the explosion of Pokemon Go, like holy shit, we have a market for this. There's a market here.
Yeah.
But it's like they still haven't committed to that market, and that's like where I think it's going to spurn them in the long run, especially if Mario Kart Tour ends up being just like a Miitomo or whatever, and it ends up just being like what Chris said, watered down bullshit. I think that's going to hurt them in the mobile market, and they need to like actually, if they really truly are interested in the mobile market, they need to commit to it.
Yeah. So you think this might be their make or break game here for the
could
mobile?
be.
Because Mario Kart is such a huge game. Look at the success on the Switch. It's one of the biggest selling games for the Switch. I mean, if you look at Mitomo, it's failed. Obviously, they're kind of in a limbo here with their mobile games. I think this game will be their make or break, and I think it'll be good, man. I really do think that this will be a full-fledged Mario Kart game on the phone. Hopefully, I'm hoping. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll fucking see.
Well, even if it is good, I mean, look at similar games like Sega's All-Star, whatever
Sonic,
the one they have on the mobile is.
Sega has a mobile
racing
racing game?
Yeah, and it's actually doing very well.
It's not. Is it the Sega? Is it like the Sonic All Stars or whatever? Is it that one or?
Yeah, it's either. I don't think it's the transformed one. I think it's the first one. But I mean, you look at that, and that's a great port. That's a good game, even on the console. It's a great game, but on the phone, it's just not a good experience.
I've never been a big phone gamer, honestly, dude.
Nah.
Like I've played the Words with Friends here and there, a little bit of that, but I've never been a big mobile gamer, dude. I just haven't. I know there's been some good games that have come out on the cell phone, but I don't know, man. I'd just rather bust out my Switch or my 3DS or something. If I'm gonna fucking game on the go, I'd rather play on that versus my phone.
Well, there's still
I'm the same way.
There's still that stigma of like the mobile gamer is the casual gamer.
Yeah.
But even the hardcore gamers, we all have cell phones. So if you're going to put out a product that's worthy, that's good enough on a cell phone, the hardcore gamer is going to buy it. It's just there's this big stigma right now with mobile gaming, and it's like the casual, we're playing Farmville or Words with Friends or whatever the fuck people are playing. Yeah, like just whatever people, Angry Birds, whatever. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's like
I actually play a lot of Angry Birds.
They can. Well, you're super cash, bro.
I know,
super
so
cash.
But
so
cash. I'm gonna go play some Madden, guys. Too.
I'm just saying. So there is that stigma there. But if a gaming company were to make a worthy game on mobile, and I know you kind of, it's obvious you're not gonna make a mobile game that's worthy of like a Switch game or whatever. Like that's not going to happen. But you can make good games.
I think so.
On mobiles.
I also think what hurts mobile games is this, especially recently with the whole microtransaction debate. I mean, mobile phone games are so reliant on microtransactions, so that's going to hurt them too. I mean, I hate microtransactions
because people aren't buying. Like that's, I guess that's also part of the thing is like an average mobile game that you even pay for might be like you might put $5 to buy it. Like firsthand without microtransactions, a buy game might be $5-10 tops. So it's like I know it might be a hard sell in the mobile environment to put out a Mario game that's $30, but if you make a $30 worth game, people are gonna buy it.
I agree. We'll see how
microtransactions and all that bullshit.
This will be their make or break, I think, for the mobile market at least. So okay, let's get on to the finale here of the show. So recently, Nintendo dropped. They've been dropping some news lately. January was a big news month for Nintendo, and they had a direct that focused on Switch ports and remakes and all that, which was good and well. But then they had another trailer they dropped a week later or so, a couple days later. The big reveal: Nintendo Labo. Hope you guys love playing with cardboard because it's coming.
So my one question with Labo though was it that so everybody talked so much shit about the Wii U and the naming of it was like did they give this guy the chance to name and then he's like Wii U sucked. What about Lab? Lab like yeah that's good like and they're like almost falling for like the same trap again.
Take a one syllable word and add a fucking vowel at the end. That's how you name Nintendo shit.
Genius, Johnson. Give this guy a paid vacation. Yeah, 2 months paid vacation.
Give that man a raise.
Well, Labo. Okay, let's we're gonna watch.
We're gonna go over this, Chris. You can see the screen, correct?
I'm watching
if
it.
you're listening to this podcast, you're not going to be able to see.
I mean, what you can do though is you can go to Nintendo's YouTube channel and watch it with us if you want to on the podcast. But we're going to go through it. We're going to kind of talk about it.
So pause now if you want to catch up because we're about to play. So welcome back. You've paused and you've unpaused. So we're going to play the Labo trailer here in 3, 2, 1. All right, switch. Okay, so this is your first time watching it. You're like, all right. What
cardboard.
Cardboard, okay. Maybe. What the fuck?
Chris, is this what your company does? But with shirts?
No.
Okay. Are these
actually we have a conveyor belt like that?
Pads? I thought they were mouse pads for a sec. Or some sort of like pad you draw on. Oh, shit.
It's like a motherboard.
Yeah, it does.
It's like a motherboard. Fucking cardboard, dude. I mean.
They took all the fun parts out. Like, it's already done.
Yeah.
It's. Okay, if I was like a 10-year-old kid, maybe not this part, but like when they get to like the robot.
Was that a cat?
Cool. It was a cat. Oh shit!
Nintendo's obsession with cats.
What?
Yeah, what?
You just hit a fucking button.
That looks like an AT-AT.
AT-AT. It's an AT-AT, according to Canon.
What are the possibilities?
So I'm not going to lie, the fishing pole is actually the coolest thing to me in this trailer.
So they've said that you can make your own custom shit too. Like there's these preset ones, but you can also engineer your own.
Look at that foot pedal.
The whole is that the whole Switch in there?
Yeah.
What?
What are you playing on if you got that in there?
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder who's developing this. If Nintendo's actually... This is what Retro's doing. You know that, right? Like, everyone thinks Retro's making some amazing game, but this is Retro.
Like it falls over.
I have a
You
theory,
see, you saw how it...
Nintendo always gets slammed for having all these peripherals and shit.
Yeah.
So they were like, this time around, they're like, okay, let's make peripherals that are cardboard so we don't have to waste all our money making shit that no one's going to buy.
Yeah, okay.
Did you notice how like the cardboard guy he, like falls over? Like I feel like, and it's like they're almost showing like the ineptitude of the product right there.
Yeah.
And then one other, we'll get right back. We're about halfway through the trailer, but we'll get back to that. But like another thing that one of my friends told me, one of my coworkers, and I was like, man, that's like actually a legitimate like gripe. Is he even said, he's like, Labo seems kind of cool, but he goes, I don't want to have in my living room a bunch of cardboard.
Yeah,
Just
what do you do with
off
this
in the
shit when you're not
corner.
playing
Like,
with it?
yeah, like, and I was just like, dude,
You don't throw it away because it's $50 fucking dollars.
for cardboard.
Your
But
fucking mom was like cleaning your room out. She's like, "What the fuck is this cardboard doing here?" And just like tosses all. My Labos, mom. I
Yeah.
fucking spent hours on that.
and I'm
That was my allowance.
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of the thing I like in it too is like, remember like erector sets
I do.
and like
I do.
connects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
But
like
you could put those away.
yeah. I had them. Remember?
But you know what?
but-
Erector sets couldn't burn. They weren't fire
Right.
hazards.
But I
They
mean,
were
it's
made
like-
out of metal.
I feel like this is like the modern day version of it, and maybe you
Yeah.
can break it down and refold it. I don't know how good the cardboard's gonna be. What if it rips? You're fucked.
But you
like,
know, Nintendo's gonna have some like fucking jargon where they're like, it's triple reinforced
And they're gonna
cardboard that's resistant.
and
to,
if it
like-
does rip, you can buy our official Nintendo tape to stick it back together. It's only $30 for one
Yeah.
roll.
proprietary duct tape.
It has Mario and Yoshi on it as you know,
Mark
rip
it
it
up.
out.
Look it up. Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. Like, okay, I see if you're a kid, you might get excited for this shit, but obviously us. I mean, it's not marketed toward us. This
It's
is
not.
perfectly
It's
okay.
not.
This is not.
I was
meant-
gonna say there is a market for
I mean,
it.
There are grown ass men who will play this, but it's not fucking marketed at them. Maybe it's marketed at like
Yeah.
a dad who has a kid and they can do it together kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's different.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's different levels. Like there might be super easy sets. There might be super difficult ones. Like obviously that robot one with all the strings and shit looks a little more advanced.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, who knows how elaborate this shit will get, and who knows if like. See, what I started thinking about when I watched this was like, are they ever going to do like official licensed cardboard shit? Like maybe you could make a Hylian shield out of Labo and like a sword, and I don't know. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, right?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
So anyway, let's
Make your own
continue the
props.
trailer. So
Yeah.
let's
Get
let's
back
watch
to
the rest
that.
of this here.
Oh,
So there's definitely a,
oh,
yeah, Nintendo always on point with that music.
the
selection.
bird.
Whoa, what the fuck? That
back
bird
to
was
that
cool.
Yeah, go back to that bird.
Let's get a replay on that bird. Hang on, let's see. We're gonna
I want to make the bird.
fucking slow mo this bird here. Let's see what this is all
Oh.
about.
We got the chopped and screwed version.
Oh, that's sick. Whoa!
That
Look at that thing.
that does not look fun. I'm saying okay. So the Joy-Con is the head, and the fuck.
Oh, it
You
is.
see that up there? So what is the point of this though? Like this doesn't look fun to me.
We got the chopped and screwed version.
All right, let's get
going
it back.
on here.
We'll get it
Can we
back.
get that back to normal?
Normal. Let's get the. Oh, we've been watching.
It's like,
We're watching in 480p as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Is that a camera?
Dude,
Pokemon Snap?
I know this
Okay,
endorsed
okay,
firearms.
hey, if they made that with the camera and made a Pokemon Snap 2,
Bro.
I'm buying Labo. I'll do it.
Hell
But see,
yeah.
guess what? We're not in charge of Nintendo, and this is the reason why, you know.
Dude, if we were in charge of Nintendo, it'd be like F-Zero games every year. There'd be fucking, there'd be Pokemon Snap every
Pokemon
year.
Snap 5.
Oh, man.
Wonderful.
Okay, this is interesting.
The robot looks so cool. Like the giant robot thing looks okay.
That flight simulator looks kind of cool.
Okay, there's actually a game here too. So if you look
Yeah.
at this, there is
So
some
it's a
sort
program.
Of game.
You're buying a game too, right?
Yes,
You
it
buy,
does
like,
come with
is
the
it a
game
cartridge
Yes,
or-
there's
or
a
do you
cartridge that
download
comes
it
with
online?
it. So I think there's gonna be like starter packs where you get the game plus, whatever preset
Mm-hmm.
shit they have. But no, it's cool. Like this is like engineering light. I mean, like if your kid's interested in engineering,
That's
or
what I'm
wanting
saying.
to
It's
build
like a
shit,
modern day erector set
Yeah.
for kids.
See, that's kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
they expose the back and they show all the fucking shit moving in there, moving gears. Some of the shit it gets more advanced as it gets through, so that's kind of cool. But arts and
You
crafts.
can color it.
That's for your sister. All
Yeah.
the buildings for the brother.
Yeah.
Can we do battle bots? Like, if they do battle bots with these, please.
Dude,
Nintendo,
okay,
if you're hearing
so
this.
speaking of that, this is actually like a funny meme that I saw on the internet for Labo, and they had that like the little bot that had like the 4 legs that was moving around,
Yeah.
and somebody like strapped or photoshopped a knife on it, and it said if you mess with the Labo, you get the Stabo.
Yeah, I saw it. That was good.
Like, dude, that would be amazing.
See, one thing that was interesting to me with this trailer is like you don't see any like Nintendo franchises. You don't see like a Zelda official Labo or like a Mario Labo. It just seems
420.
Dude,
420,
is
what
gonna
the
be
hell?
fucking off the
Dude, so
chain.
Super Troopers 2 is coming out. You could get your Labo and watch Super Troopers 2.
Fuck yeah.
Get blazed up
Get blazed as
and
fuck. Dude,
cut
yeah.
cardboard out.
I think this is a very strategic release date here.
Well,
Because these things
What if the cardboard's made out of hemp?
yeah,
should be
hemp-
so you can light it
hempo.
up too.
Yeah, dude. Smoke your Labo after you're done with it. Like,
Yeah, maybe.
no, 420 is
Nintendo
actually turning out
licensed
to be a
weed.
pretty big release day for a lot of shit. So it's there's actually quite a few games coming out in 420.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be a pretty big day.
like a stoner holiday.
Oh yeah, we're gonna celebrate, right?
That's awesome.
We are doing a 420 episode.
We are, Chris.
And we have
yeah.
a special.
Maybe we'll have you on here.
we have a special idea for it, so we'll see
Yeah.
when we get there. We have to make some things happen though. Anyway, yeah, so that's Labo. It's cool. I mean, not for us, obviously.
No.
but it's
No.
sure.
Is that Ego Raptor in a Shuffle Knight video?
Yeah, he made the amiibo. You want to play it? Play it.
Wait,
It's in
where?
the-
What?
Over there.
That looks like Ego.
It
Is that really
It
him?
is.
Looks
We'll
like
play
who?
it. We'll play it.
Ego Raptor.
Oh.
From Game Grumps.
Aaron from Game Grumps.
You've never seen this,
I never
Chris?
see this commercial. No.
What?
He like sucks it off.
Dude, that Shovel Knight amiibo is pretty sexy. I should have got one.
Ooh.
That's nice. Dude, Plague Knight's the best.
So here, pause it real quick. And King Knight, which I think is actually the coolest one. But so I really want to get if we're talking about Switch games. Even though I bought it on my 3DS, I haven't played any of the DLC games like the Plague Knight, all those.
Yeah,
Like,
I picked up
wanna get
treasure trove on my Switch. I haven't beat the main game yet, so I haven't got to the DLC. But
I plan on doing that
I
pretty
should.
soon.
I need to. but-
Celeste will be first, but yeah.
I'm
But
balls deep
anyways,
on
let's get
Celeste.
back to some
Yeah.
Ego Raptor goodness.
Yeah, let's get.
He's such a terrible actor.
Yeah. Or maybe he's a great actor. I don't know.
I've never seen this before, man.
I
This
can't
is a
believe
good
you haven't seen
commercial.
this. I can't believe Chris hasn't.
I need to get those. Those
Sexual.
amiibos are nice.
Those are dope.
Oh my god, dude, this is great. I can't believe I've not seen this.
Bonus armor.
Bonus arm.
People are like, what the fuck are they watching?
I know, like what?
Yeah, so Labo.
It's
Yeah,
getting me
Labo,
randy.
anyway. So yeah, that's the podcast. Chris, thanks for fucking joining us, man. It was,
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
We'll get you back on.
Why don't you?
Thanks for having me.
and pimp out
Yeah.
your
One more time.
your stuff.
Drop your shit.
Okay, go hit up Unicorn Flex and /or CV Anims. I'm in the middle of rebranding, so
See it, like Unicorn Flex, like in the red corner, like you're doing a fucking elbow drop. Unicorn
And
Flex.
that's CVANIMS, just for anybody that's listening and wants to hear it.
Yeah.
CVANIMS.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah,
Hit it up.
really good shit, dude. Your content's awesome, dude. I like watching Dragon Ball Z shit. So I want to do some voice acting for you.
thanks, man.
I know you talked about it, but
Yeah.
I want to do some voice acting.
Hell yeah, man, I've done it in the past, so
Game.
Something I've always wanted to get into. So if you ever need some voice acting, hit us up. Got you. I can
Will
do some
do.
more voices. I can do Russian.
I'm terrible.
I can do Mexican.
Yeah, I'm
like,
terrible, but Brad's actually he has very good voice acting skills.
John does a really good stoner. Like,
I can
really
do a
good
stoner
bro.
surfer guy, and that's about all I can do. That's I'm a one.
that's his
I'm
one
a
move.
one-trick pony
We'll
when
have
it
to-
comes to that.
Yeah, you have to type. You have to typecast him.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, dude. Thanks for joining us, man. So, so that's Chris's his links, all his stuff. You can hit us up on Facebook.com/RetroHeroPodcast. Shoot us an email at RetroHeroPodcast@gmail.com. And please go to our Patreon and help us out. You can start with $1. We have a $2, $5, $10, up to $100.
Yeah,
Whatever
Chris,
you wanna
where's
give,
you?
man.
Where's you on our Patreon, homie?
Yeah, homie.
$1 a month.
We're not.
That's
on
all
his
we asked
Patreon.
for, Chris.
We're not on his Patreon either, so.
No, I'm kidding.
I'll scratch your back, you
All right,
scratch
dude.
mine.
Well, I feel like we're doing that right now. My back has been sufficiently scratched so far, so we really appreciate
We'll have to
you
make
having,
like a Labo
having
back
us on the
scratcher.
podcast.
Labo
Having you on the
back
podcast.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate it, man. We'll get you on again. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
And also with you.
Later, guys.